You're listening to the Love Over Addiction podcast. Hey, how are you? So today we are going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is fun. Having fun. Now, some of you listening to this might go, Michelle, for God's sakes, what does having fun have to do with loving someone that's struggling with addiction? That sounds fluffy and whatever. I don't know what you would be saying or how you would be judging this topic, but you might be. And for those of you that are, I'd really get it. I get it because your life right now feels out of control. You're scared to death of your future. You cannot figure out what the right next move is. And the moment you probably make up your mind and think, okay, that's it, I'm going to change, or they're going to change, or I'm going to leave, or I'm going to stay, or whatever, it's not so bad. It automatically changes. The moment you start to make a decision, you change your mind because your circumstances change. Because when you love someone struggling with addiction, there's no stability. There's no safety. It's all craziness and pandemonium and unpredictability, and it's exhausting. And it can feel very serious, very dark, and very heavy, right? Okay, so I know when I say the word fun, you're like, Michelle, that word seems impossible to me. There's no fun in my life because I'm literally in fight or flight mode. Fun seems frivolous and unnecessary. I'm just trying to survive. And here's where I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I need you to answer them honestly. And remember, it's just you and me, and a large part of your recovery, because it's not just about your loved one recovering. It's also your job to recover yourself. And in order to do that, you have to be honest with yourself. You know how you want your loved one to be honest about how much they've had to drink or their drug use or, where they've actually been? You want and oftentimes try to demand honesty from them. Well, that same rule needs to be applied to yourself. Because if you don't have the courage and the guts to be honest with yourself, you're not going to get better, period. And I know that the reason why I used to feel incredibly defensive about when somebody called me out on the carpet, when I love somebody struggling with addiction, was because I was afraid. I lived in a state of constant denial. You guys, my ex-husband was cheating on me, it turns out, my entire marriage. I didn't find out until I was in the process of leaving. And I'm a smart woman. How could I have missed that? But I look back on it now and I think because I wanted so badly to hold on to the hope that things would change, and the idea of him cheating on me would have meant that I needed to leave, because that's one of my boundaries. So I lived in a state of denial because I wanted to stay. I wanted to stay married because I was in love with him. And so I'm going to ask you some questions, and I need you to be honest with me, just with me. You don't have to say this out loud to anybody else. But we're going to start here, and if you answer yes to any one of these questions, then we're going to talk about you needing to have more fun in your life, okay? So here's question number 1. Are you exhausted? Are you tired? Question number 2. How about this? Are you tired in the middle of the day? Not just in the evening when it's time for bed. Do you feel lost or empty? Do you feel envious of other people's happiness? Are you resentful of your loved one's drinking or drug habits and the hurtful choices they are making? Are you full of anger or rage and blame about your relationship? Do you walk around wishing you could be in love with someone else? How are your relationships with others? Is there conflict? And lastly, do you feel helpless? Okay, so that was a list that I made up because those are all things, if you were to ask me when I was in love with someone suffering from addiction, I could have raised my hand and said yes to all of those, okay? These are really common problems to have, specifically when you love someone suffering from addiction. So I want to make it clear, whatever you answered, it's okay. There's zero judgment. It's absolutely okay for you to say yes. This doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you haven't been trying really hard in your life to make everything better. If there's anything that I would give you credit for, it is the fact that I know that you are trying everything in your life, anything you can think of to make things better, to hold on to this relationship, to heal from this relationship, right? But if you have answered yes to these and you have been trying everything that you know how, may I just suggest that you are trying too hard in the wrong areas? May I just make the loving suggestion that maybe you need to stop trying so hard all the time to heal and start to have more fun. Now, I could go into study after study after study after study, and there are so many out there that prove that having a rich, fun, fulfilled, loving life is actually the greatest healing mechanism ever. It is having a sense of community. So a support group around you, a group of friends or family that you can call upon that will have fun with you. Having hobbies that you actually really enjoy doing, that take your mind off of the reality or the darkness of your life, something that you can pour yourself into, something that gives you joy. Having a job that you feel completely needed and fulfilled, that you can use your gifts and your talents to do, something that when you wake up and you think about going to work, that you're happy, it gives you a sense of fulfillment and a purpose. Let me ask you a question. How many things, if you look ahead in your week today, how many things do you have on your calendar that you're actually looking forward to? Think about it. And I'm not talking about, the day-to-day responsibilities or activities of your life. I'm talking about events or times that you have on your calendar that give you joy, that you're really looking forward to doing. And if you're like me back in the day, I would have said 0. My greatest time is bed time. That is an indicator that you need more joy and fun in your life. Now, I know some of you are probably saying, Michelle, I can't afford fun. And I love you, and I'm here to say that is a lame excuse. You absolutely can afford fun. Fun does not have to be expensive. Fun can be a walk, with a dog, listening to some great music, planning out your future, thinking of your dreams. Fun can be, sitting down and journaling with a beautiful candle that you got from the grocery store that's in your favorite scent. It doesn't have to be a trip to Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? Fun can be something that you really enjoy. Now, my guess is that you have managed to put yourself last consistently for a very long time. My guess is that you have spent a lifetime trying to hold your tongue because what you really want to say feels like you're being too dramatic or too big of a pain in the ass, or sorry for the airplane. it would be impolite. It would ruffle too many feathers. You don't want to be thought of as rude or difficult. But my guess is that you have shoved down feelings and dreams and desires for a really long time. That you have convinced yourself that what you want doesn't really matter. It shouldn't matter as much as taking care of everyone else, of pleasing everyone else, of being the mom that you should be, or the wife or the daughter or whatever. So my question to you is, I want you to think back to a time in your life where you had fun. Now, it might not have been like, you might not have been like the fun girl or the fun guy for a year or two. Maybe your fun came in spurts. Maybe it was a memory of going on vacation at a lake house one year. And then maybe it was playing cards with a friend, or maybe it was a book club, or maybe it was, go-karting. I don't know, whatever. Maybe there were sporadic things throughout your life. But your homework is to think about fun. What was fun? And you guys know, I do this with you. Like, we're in this together. So last night I was like, okay, I got to be more fun. I'm going to be more fun. I used to be the fun girl, and I've kind of lost touch with that because I have 1,000 kids and a husband and I work. And so it's become all very serious and all very Debbie Downer. I need to get back in touch with the fun girl. So I looked up yesterday a seafood place that was in my local area, and I went and got crab legs and butter, and we sat around the table and ate crab legs. It was fun. It didn't take very long to cook them, and my family and I had a great conversation during dinner, and I'm like, here I am, I've returned. The person that is fun, that lives inside of you, is not dead. It's still there. You just need to reconnect with that person. You need to make having fun a priority. And it's amazing when you do, when you really have a rich, fulfilling, fun life, the health benefits. Like, we're talking, when I use the word healing, I'm not talking about, it can work both. It can work both ways. It can be physical and spiritual and mental healing. So many things happen. So today, answer those questions and then start asking yourself, how can I have more fun in my life? I would love for you, every week, the goal is this, to have 1, 2, 3 things on your calendar every week that you are looking forward to for having fun. Another example I have is that we have a yogurt shop with all these like toppings in them. I try to eat really healthy. I don't always succeed, but I decided, okay, I love watching British movies and sitting in front of the TV and having yogurtology and having my yogurt. So I'm going to go there and do that Friday or Saturday night. And that is a constant, and I know it's something to look forward to. So as you can see, for me, fun is a lot of food, which I'm okay with. Some of you, it might be, sailing or surfing or whatever, a sport, hiking, I don't know. But go and find out what gives you fun. And then I promise you, if you are consistent with it, it is going to expedite your healing. And here's the other added benefit. It is going to make you care less about if they get sober or not. And I know that sounds crazy, but let me explain that for a second. You'll care less because their addiction can be all-consuming. It can be a form of obsessive thinking. It can run your life. It can be the thing that you never stop thinking about. And you can get stuck with dealing with addiction, where all roads lead back to addiction. All thoughts always end up back to helping your loved one get sober. And we have to get you unstuck. We have to give you a life outside of addiction. I know for me, everything I did was completely revolved around getting that man sober. Even when he wasn't around, even when he was, wasn't even present and wasn't even thinking, I was doing the work for us. And I was thinking, okay, we got to get him sober. How are we going to do it? I need to read some more books. I need to read some more articles, some studies, talk to some experts. That's ridiculous. I needed to get unstuck. And the way you get unstuck is you get a life outside of your relationship with your loved one. You break your addiction to the person who's suffering from addiction. Does that make sense? You both are addicted, by the way. So in order to break your addiction, you have to find hobbies and put yourself first and think of ways that you can curate your life that will bring you fun. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to be in the middle of that activity and it's going to make you feel anxious. You are going to feel anxiety when you first put these events or things on your calendar. You're going to want to cancel them. And I'm sure if you think about it, you've canceled before. You might be that person that just cancels things because listen, getting outside of the home or getting outside of the world of addiction is terrifying because we're so controlling. And the more that we try to get our people sober, the more controlling we become. And so that is why when you try to get a life outside of addiction or different thoughts or different hobbies or different friendships or a promotion at work or whatever it is, you start to feel incredibly anxious. That anxiety that is coming up within you is because you're trying to break your addiction to the addicted. And it is completely normal. But you have to walk through that addiction. You have to walk through that anxiety. You have to literally sit there and say to yourself, self, I am going to be okay if I walk out the door. I'm going to be okay if I choose something for me, something that makes me have fun. I am going to be okay if I take my eyes and my attention off my loved one. In fact, I'm not only going to be okay, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be healthier. Do you understand? Do you see how this is part of your healing? Because I know what it feels like. I used to go to the grocery store and be worried about leaving him there for an hour because I never knew what I was going to come back to. I never knew what I missed my best friend's wedding. I missed a wonderful friend's funeral because I was so scared of leaving him alone because I never knew what was going to happen with him. And I was such a controlling human being that I needed to keep my eyes on him at all times. And that is sick. And that is unhealthy. And that is not good. And I still, to this very day, regret not attending those events. It still hurts me because I think to myself, how much how much of the joy and the wonderful things, events have I missed out on? How many friendships and relationships have I missed out on because I've been so gosh darn consumed helping this person who doesn't want to be helped. And it's actually never paid off. Like, it's never gotten them sober. It's never worked because you and I know the secret to sobriety is that they have to want to get sober and they have to want it so desperately that they are willing to give up so many things in their life to be sober. And it's not easy. So the fact that we think we can control them and that we need to place our entire lives on hold to help them get sober is ridiculous. It's never going to happen, and it's a waste of our energy. So when you feel anxious about those events and you're tempted to cancel them, you're tempted to cancel the fun because you psychologically need to control them, or you feel like subconsciously you don't deserve to have fun because the work isn't over yet because they're not getting sober. You need to forget about the work. You're in the wrong job. You need to admit to yourself, you are not the manager of sobriety. You have nothing to do. You shouldn't even be in the factory. That is not your job. That is their job. Your job is to hang up your hat, walk out of the factory and say, I'm going to go have some fun. So when you feel anxious, follow through. Stay committed, because guess what you're committing to? You're committing to yourself. And yourself has been neglected and put on hold for years and years and years. And it is time to nurture self. It is time to pay attention to self, to honor self, to love self. It is time that yourself is the priority, and that is your job. That is the new hat and the new factory that you are opening up and that you are going to run every day, because it is a thankless, payless, worthless job trying to get your loved one sober. It hasn't worked, you guys. It's showing you get no benefits from it. You get no rewards. You don't get promotions. You don't get recognized. You go to work and you get abused and you get neglected and you get feeling empty and you feel resentful and it makes you feel angry and miserable. Hang up the hat, walk out of the factory and start again. If you are looking for clear direction as to what you should do next, which is how we started this, you have to know thyself. You have to get in touch with self, and you have not. You have been neglecting that person for a really long time, maybe all your life. And the good news is it's never too late to start. Never, ever, ever. We have women in our community who've taken the programs who are 70 years old and they say, I thought my life was done. I thought it was over. I've married 3 alcoholics. I thought I'm never going to change. And then they graduate and they go, it's a new lease on life. I've never felt better. I just got my own apartment. I've moved out and I'm having a ball. That could happen to you. And not only could it happen to you, but listen, if you're one of those people and you go, I don't know what my purpose is, this is your purpose. This right here. Your purpose is the growth that you need to have in order to heal from loving somebody who suffers from addiction. That's your purpose today. It might change in, 2 years from now. But today, for the next 6 months, year, whatever, that's your purpose. Your purpose is to heal and change your life and change yourself from that person that got into that relationship and accepted that relationship with a loved one suffering from addiction. And who knows, maybe you could go on to help other people. You could at least, if you have children, you could help your children navigate through it when you get sober. When you get better. Sorry. I use the word sober so much. Okay, so have fun. Know thyself. You're going to quit your job this week. You're going to quit your job of taking care of them. You're going to quit that job being in that factory of addiction. You're going to walk out. You're going to go have some fun. You're going to discover who you are meant to be, what makes you happy, what makes you have fun, and you're going to front load your calendar with lots of events and things to try out and see if you have fun. And if you have fun, put a little star next to them so you know you can do them again. If they're not fun, great. Don't do it again. Right? This is going to be your new behavior. This is going to be your growth. And I promise you, you will see change. You want change? How bad do you want change? How badly do you want to change your life? Then do these things. Don't just listen to these podcasts. I give you enough tools where you can put them into action and you will see a difference. I promise you. And I believe in you 100%. Even if you don't believe in yourself. Even if you're like, Michelle, you don't know me. My life is stuck. I'm stuck. Nothing's going to change. No. I'm here to lift you up, to help you up, to remind you, to look in your face and tell you with all love in my heart, you are worth a better life than this, and it is not too late. You are not stuck. You can change things. You can have a beautiful, happy, joyful life. When you feel anxiety, it's a good thing. Think of it as a good thing because it means that you're ready to change and you're gonna change. And I'm right here cheering you on. I believe in you. This podcast is created for your support, encouragement, and entertainment with my personal thoughts and beliefs. We are bonded together by the fact that we love someone suffering from addiction. This is not intended as a substitute for therapy or advice from a professional.